Hey y'all, what's up? We are back with another edition of Deuteronomy, chapters 20 and 21 for today. We're almost at the finish line. If you are reading along, please give us a thumbs up, a like, or put in the comments, hey girl, I'm reading along. Hey girl, I read it. Even if you read it before and didn't read along with me, but hey, I completed the task. All right. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. Deuteronomy chapter 20, regulations concerning war. Regulations concerning war. When you go out to fight your enemies and you face horses and chariots and an army greater than your own, here goes that phrase again. Do not be afraid. The Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, is with you. When you prepare for battle, the priest must come forward to speak to the troops. He will say to them, listen to me, all you men of Israel. Do not be afraid as you go out to fight your enemies today. Do not lose heart or panic or tremble before them, for the Lord your God is going with you. He will fight for you against your enemies. He will give you victory. Then the officers of the army must address the troops and say, has anyone here just built the new house, but not yet dedicated it? If so, you may go home. You might be killed in the battle, and someone else will dedicate your house. Has anyone here just planted a vineyard, but not yet eaten any of its fruit? If so, you may go home. You might die in battle, and someone else will eat the first fruit. Has anyone here just become engaged to a woman, but not yet married her? Well, you may go home and get married. You might die in battle, and someone else would marry her. Then the officer will also say, is anyone here afraid or worried? If you are, you may go home before you frighten anyone else. When the officer have finished speaking to their troops, they will appoint the unit commanders. As you approach a town to attack it, you must first offer its people terms for peace. If they accept your terms and open the gates to you, then all the people inside will serve you and forced labor. But if they refuse to make peace and prepare to fight, you must attack the town. When the Lord your God hands the town over to you, use your swords to kill each man in the town. But you may keep for yourselves all the women, children, livestock, and other plunder. You may enjoy the plunder from your enemies that the Lord your God has given you. But these instructions apply only to distant towns, not to the towns of the nations in the land you will enter. In those towns that the Lord your God has given you as a special possession, destroy every living thing. You must completely destroy the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, just as the Lord your God has commanded you. This will prevent the people of the land from teaching you to imitate their detestable customs and the worship of their gods, which would cause you to sin deeply against the Lord your God. When you are attacking a town and the war drags on, you must not cut down the trees with your axes. You may eat the fruit, but do not cut down the trees. Are the trees your enemies that you should attack them? You may only cut down trees that you know are not valuable for food. Use them to make the equipment you need to attack the enemy town until it falls. That was Deuteronomy chapter 20. Let's go ahead and dive into Deuteronomy 21. But before we do that, let me get something to drink because I'm very parched. Stand by. I'll be there in 2 seconds, guys. Sorry. Much better. All right, Deuteronomy 21. Cleansing for unsolved murder. Unsolved murder. When you are in the land the Lord your God has given you, someone may be found murdered in a field, and you don't know who committed the murder. In such a case, your elders and judges must measure the distance from the site of the crime to the nearby towns. When the nearest town has been determined, that town's elders must select from the herd a heifer that has never been trained or yoked to a plow. They must lead it down to a valley that has not been plowed or planted and that has a stream running through it. There in the valley, they must break the heifer's neck. Then the Levitical priest must step forward, for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister before him and to pronounce blessings in the Lord's name. They are to decide all legal and criminal cases. The elders of the towns must wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken. Then they must say, "Our hands did not shed this person's blood, nor did we see it happen. O Lord, forgive your people Israel, whom you have redeemed. Do not charge your people with the guilt of murdering an innocent person." Then they will be absolved of the guilt of the person's blood. By following these instructions, you would do what is right in the Lord's sight and will cleanse the guilt of murder from your community. Marriage to a captive woman. Verse 10. Suppose you go out to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God hands them over to you, and you take some of them as captives. And suppose you see among the captives a beautiful woman, which you will. I just added that, which you will. And you are attracted to her and want to marry her. If this happens, you may take her to your home, where she must shave her head, cut her nails, and change the clothes she is wearing when she was captured. She will stay in your home, but let her mourn for her father and mother for a full month. Then you may marry her, and you will be her husband, and she will be your wife. But if you marry her and she does not please you, you must let her go free. You may not sell her or treat her as a slave, for you have humiliated her. Rights of the firstborn. This is good. This is a good word. I love how God was like with them, like, ugh. Verse 15. Suppose a man has 2 wives, but he loves one and not the other, and both have given him sons. And suppose the firstborn son is the son of the wife he does not love. When the man divides his inheritance, he may not give the larger inheritance to his younger son, the son of the wife he loves, as if he were the firstborn son. He must recognize the rights of his oldest son, the son of the wife he does not love, by giving him a double portion. He is the first son of his father's virility, and the rights of the firstborn belong to him. Some about them firstborns. Dealing with a rebellious son. Parents, listen up. Dealing with a rebellious son. Suppose a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who would not obey his father or mother, even though they discipline him. In such a case, the father and mother must take the son to the elders as they hold court at the town gate. The parents must say to the elders, "This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious and refuses to obey. He is glutton and a drunkard, then all the men of his town must stone him to death. And this way you will purge this evil from among you, and all Israel will hear about it and be afraid. Various regulations, verse 22. If someone has committed a crime worthy of death and is executed and hung on a tree, the body must not remain hanging from the tree overnight. You must bury the body that same day. For anyone who is hung is cursed in the sight of God. In this way, you will prevent the defilement of the land the Lord your God has given you as your special possession. And I have read for you Deuteronomy chapters 20 and 21. Keep in mind, this is God giving rules to Israel, okay? So we'll pick up tomorrow with chapters 22 and 23. This is getting good. It's already good. I love the word of God. I just love it. I love it. I feel like I'm like reading a movie script. Like it's so good. But I see y'all tomorrow for Deuteronomy 22 and 23. Have a good one.